Hello, Dr. Noor. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sabahat Hafiz. And for everyone to know who's Dr. Noor, Dr. Noor is a behavioral scientist and OD consultant with 20 years of industry experience and PhD in organizational behavior. So, welcome, Dr. Noor, again.
Thank you so much, Sabha, for inviting me to your channel and taking time off to do this interview with me. Appreciate
Uh,
it.
I am glad that you are here, and we're going to do a couple of questions and answer session because I would like to tell the viewers and also the listeners to know what motivated you, something about life, and how they can change their lifestyle based on the behavioral study that you've done
Sure.
throughout the number of years.
Absolutely. All right. No problem.
All right, so Dr. No, my first question would be what motivated you to pursue a career in studying and understanding human behavior?
Okay, very interesting. I've always been fascinated by the complexity of human behavior and the way individuals interact with each other and their environment. I was
Mm.
driven, in fact, I was plagued by one question, trying to understand why people behave the way they do. And this led me to work with some of the most brilliant minds nationally and internationally. In fact, this is what pushed me into a deeper understanding of human behavior. I realized that studying human behavior not only satisfied my intellectual curiosity, but also offered practical applications to improve lives of several people. I could touch so many lives in a very short span of time. The prospect of making a positive impact on individuals and communities through a deeper understanding of human behavior became my driving force.
Wonderful. Very good to know that. When you talk about applications and you're touching lives, how did you do that?
Behavioral science plays a pivotal role in shaping our understanding of human behavior, and its applications extend far beyond the academic setting. In everyday life, we encounter the influence of behavioral science in numerous ways. For example, in marketing, companies use insights from behavioral science to design more effective advertising campaigns, taking into account consumer preferences and decision making processes. In education, sciences provide teaching methods and classroom management strategies, helping educators create environments that enhance learning and student engagement. In healthcare, behavioral science contributes to patient care by addressing factors such as adherence to treatment plans, health related decision making, and lifestyle changes across industries. From finance to technology, the principles of behavioral science are harnessed to design user friendly interfaces, streamline processes, optimize decision making. And in so many ways, we can use behavioral sciences. For instance, the design of mobile apps often incorporates behavioral nudges to encourage positive habits to improve user experience. So, in essence, behavioral science serves as a valuable tool for problem solving and decision making in diverse fields. Its applications are not just about understanding individual behavior, but also leveraging that understanding to create positive outcomes and enhance the overall quality of life.
Very interesting, Dr. Noor. I only see people, focusing on being a doctor, being an engineer today in today's generation, right? So people don't think with the wider aspect. There is something like behavioral science, and when
Yes.
you're talking about it, it seems so interesting to me. With this, when you say, can you please provide some examples of successful application of behavioral science principles when you mention in solving real world problems?
Mhm. Certainly. Behavioral science principles have been instrumental in addressing real world issues. For instance, in public health campaigns, strategies based on behavioral insight have increased vaccination rates. In finance, nudges have improved retirement savings. Additionally, behavioral science in education has enhanced learning outcomes by tailoring teaching methods to individual students. So, across industries, governments, policies, behavioral science is used to solve everyday real world problems.
Mashallah, mashallah, very good. I'm feeling so inspired by you listening to all of this. So I would also like to understand uh, how can behavioral science contribute to fostering positive behavior in individual, or maybe you can take it as communities.
Okay, we look at it from both the aspects, individuals as well as communities,
Yeah.
because the impact can be seen at both levels. See, behavioral
Mm-hmm.
science provides a nuanced understanding of the factors that influence human behavior, and leveraging this knowledge can significantly contribute to fostering positive behavioral change in individuals and communities. One key approach involves the use of behavioral interventions tailored to specific contexts. For individuals, behavioral science can help design interventions that consider cognitive biases, motivations, and environmental influences. For example, implementing personalized goal setting strategies, using positive reinforcement, and creating habits through gradual changes can be effective in promoting healthier lifestyles or breaking harmful habits. In communities, behavioral science can guide the development of interventions that account for social dynamics and cultural influences. Campaigns encourage pro social behavior, environmental sustainability, or civic engagement. For instance, many important, many, inco- for instance, it may incorporate social norms, peer influence, community feedback to maximize their impact. See, moreover, behavioral science emphasizes the importance of creating supportive environments by restructuring physical or social settings to make positive behaviors more accessible and rewarding, sustainable change becomes more likely. So, this could involve redesigning public spaces to encourage physical activity, implementing policies that facilitate healthier choices, or fostering social networks that reinforce positive norms. Ultimately, behavioral science offers a comprehensive toolkit for designing interventions that acknowledge the complexity of human behavior. By addressing psychological, social, and environmental factors, these interventions can contribute to fostering positive behavioral change at both the individual as well as the community level.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting again. When you say psychological, does that include various type of issues in an individual?
Yes, yes. It's across the bandwidth of issues that a person might have. See, any challenge that an individual is facing or society is facing at a whole, behavioral science will always come up with a solution or a plethora of solutions to deal with those challenges. It's just that we have to have a deeper understanding of the context, the environment, and then it'll become very easy to deal with these challenges.
MashaAllah. Very nice, very nice. Thank you so much about these. But I want to know if you can share some success stories or case studies of behavior change interventions that you've been involved in.
Absolutely. One project that I was working on was the smoking cessation program, where we employed behavioral science principles to increase the success rate. That is basically get people to stop smoking. Now, by
Okay.
understanding the triggers and habits associated with smoking,
Mm-hmm.
we tailor made an intervention to address individual motivations and challenges. So, through
Mm-hmm.
a combination of personalized goal setting, regular check ins, and integration of social support, we observed a noteworthy increase in the number of participants who successfully quit smoking. Let
Okay.
me give you another example. I
Mm-hmm.
collaborated on a community based initiative to
Mm-hmm.
promote sustainable transportation choices. Now, by applying behavioral insight, we designed campaigns that
Mm-hmm.
emphasize social norms and provided incentives for adopting eco friendly commuting options. As a result, we witnessed a significant shift in commuting behavior, with more individuals choosing public transport, biking, or carpooling. Now, these experiences highlight the effectiveness of behavioral science in crafting targeted interventions that acknowledge the unique aspects of each context. So, by incorporating psychological and social factors, we were able to achieve positive and lasting behavioral change in both individual and community settings.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah, this is again a very phenomenal Dr. Noor. It was really, a vast aspect, and it is the behavior science that you're talking about. I just thought it was limited to one thing, but there are so many cases that's involved, especially with the smoking project. It is really inspiring. So people can really approach you, right? In order to, if they are a chain smoker, you can definitely help them.
Yes, not just individuals, NGOs can come to us because we have the bandwidth to work on social experiments. We can bring about societal changes when we work with larger bodies. So, NGOs can
Mm-hmm.
approach us, government bodies can approach us, organizations who are involved in societal upliftment and community development can approach us because we know how to bring about change. We have a team of psychologists, so it's just not me alone. There are a team of psychologists who are working together on bringing about these changes within society. So, psychology has so many applications. Where there are human beings, you need psychologists.
Yeah, that is absolutely true in the world that we are living in. We definitely need psychologists now because a lot of people are suffering, but they're just unable to express it. So,
Correct.
when you talk about smoking as a factor, right? What actually have you come across? Well, why do you think, according to the study, people start smoking? This is happening in most of the teenagers. If you see,
Yeah.
teenagers, they do it for fashion, and then I have heard from people that it reduces the stress level. How far is it true? But however, I know that it is harmful to you. I just wanted to know. I'm curious to know how is it helpful for them to where their stress levels gets reduced.
Yeah, it's an escape mechanism. First of all, teenagers do it out of curiosity and peer pressure. They're experimenting. During your adolescent years and young adulthood, your body undergoes maximum number of changes psychologically, emotionally. Neurochemical transmitters are racing and firing at the speed that they have never fired in their life. So there is this impulse, this urge to go and experiment with new things. And it is in this mode that most youngsters go out and start experimenting either with drugs or smoking, or get into reckless behaviors like, say, dirt biking, without realizing its implications. Now, how far does smoking help to reduce anxiety and calm them down? Smoking is very honestly an escape mechanism. It does not reduce anxiety. The problem stays where it is. But
Okay.
because the nicotine hits you,
Mhm.
it just dullens your brain at that point of time. It just gives you a false sensation that, oh, you're in a better place, you're more relaxed, you're more calm. Just with alcohol or any intoxicant or any drug that you would do, it numbs your senses and gives you this false feeling of being in a happy place. And that's what people think, and then they become addicted to it. Of course, nicotine, drugs, alcohol, all this have an addictive component. So if you keep doing it on a regular basis, then it becomes to your go-to habit. The minute there is a fight at home, you go out and smoke. You have your parents tell you something that you don't like, you go out and smoke. You're just relaxing with your friends and have nothing else to do, then all of you will pick up a smoke. So it becomes a habit after a point of time. And like everything else, habits need to be broken. And they have to be replaced with more positive habits. Of course, we all know the damaging effect of any kind of
Yeah.
addiction, whether it is smoking, alcohol, drugs, or even technology addiction for that matter.
Yeah, that is true. I know that it is giving you the false idea of they being in a safer place and better place.
True, true.
So I've heard that, but you can't really tell them because they're living in the false world, and it is really hard to convince them. So if you were me, how would you convince them?
See,
Tough
convincing does
question.
not really help. You have to show them facts, data, statistics.
Mhm.
You need to show them what happens to people who smoke on a consistent basis, the effect it takes on their health. At the end of the day, you can only get the horse to the water. You can't force him to drink.
Yes.
Sooner or later they will realize, and sometimes they see their parents who have been chain smokers and what they are undergoing. Sometimes they've seen young friends who have been addicted, say, to alcohol or drugs, what has happened to them. The irresponsible decisions that they take, and it's not just the individual, the entire family has to pay a price for it. So
Yes.
when you do the consequence analysis and you show them
Mm.
from the consequence aspect of it, what the toll is going to take on your personal life as well as your professional life, and the
Mm.
impact it's going to have on the entire family. It's not just
Yeah.
you, because
Yeah.
when you fall sick, then it's going to take a huge toll on the entire reserves of the family. Yeah, not
Mhm.
just financial reserves, emotional reserves, psychological reserves, physical reserves. Everything takes a downtime, everything takes a beating. So when they understand from that point of view, yes, change can be done. But like every habit, it takes time. It takes time to break a habit. Yeah, so you have to replace that bad habit with a positive habit. So that's when CBT
Yeah.
comes into place, cognitive behavioral therapy, and the various other therapeutic techniques that we would use to replace a negative habit with a positive one.
Yes, yes. But can that be heredity as well?
Smoking, not heredity. It's not
Mm.
heredity. People would like to think it's heredity, saying that, my father was a chain smoker, it runs in my family, my uncle. No, there is no genetic, at least there's not enough research to back that theory, saying that there is a genetic component associated
Yes.
with smoking or alcohol. Yeah, if you make up your mind and you are determined, you can break away from it. See, there is genetics and there is the environment, and you are
Mhm.
in control of your life. When are you going to
Yes.
take responsibility? It's very easy
Mm-hmm.
to blame genes for it or heredity for it and say
Mm-hmm.
everybody in my family is doing it. But not this. Yes, there are other certain genetic conditions, like certain personality dispositions that can be inherited, but smoking, not so much.
Yeah. Okay. And that clears, however, that clears my question, that the doubt that I have about so I had about smoking. Now, I would like to know what trends or developments do you foresee in the future of behavioral science?
That's a very, very interesting
Yeah.
question. In terms of trends, let me let me rack my brains a little bit and see. Okay, see, as we look ahead, several trends and developments are likely to shape the future of behavioral science. One notable trend is the increasing integration of such technologies such as artificial intelligence and machine learning in analyzing and predicting human behavior. This
Yes.
allows for more sophisticated and personalized interventions.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, there's a growing emphasis on cross disciplinary collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Behavioral sciences are more likely to work closely with experts in the field of neuroscience, economics, data science to gain a more comprehensive understanding of human behavior. So,
Mm-hmm.
interdisciplinary approaches are becoming quite common these days.
Mm.
Another noteworthy development in the application of behavioral science is in addressing global challenges such as climate change, poverty,
Yeah.
health disparities. Governments and organizations are recognizing the potential of behavioral insights in making informed policies and that derive positive societal change.
Mm-hmm.
So, all this this is where we are headed. In short, the future of behavioral science holds promise in terms of technology advancements, interdisciplinary collaboration, addressing global issues, and a more nuanced understanding of diverse human behaviors.
Yes. In fact, Dr. Noor, what I did was today I read an article about, the artificial intelligence replacing human psychologists. And
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing after reading that article because that's how, the world is growing in terms of the trend.
True.
So, yeah, so the human psychologists are likely to be replaced by the AI.
That would make our life so much more easier, isn't it?
But
But
now we have to think about the jobs of the human psychologists
no, but
also.
you need human beings to actually be more intelligent than the AI to create an AI. And the AI is constantly learning from our experiences and the
Yeah.
experience that it is putting out over there. So we will never run out of jobs. The human mind is so complex, it's so beautiful. God created it with such care and thought that we're hardly using even 10% of our brain. There's so much more that needs to be explored. So AI is a small part of what we are attempting to create. Once we create that,
Yeah.
there'll be something new that we will create for ourselves. Human beings constantly create challenges for themselves because they want to reach higher and higher. So don't worry, we'll
Yeah.
never run out of jobs.
I hope so. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. How might these advancements in technology influence this field of, behavioral science?
How do they influence? Is that your question?
The advancements
Okay.
in technology influence the field of behavioral science. Like
Okay.
now we spoke about AI,
Correct.
they're replacing the human psychologist. Now, can these advancements in technology influence the field of behavioral science as well?
Oh, definitely, absolutely, in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, let's look at data collection and analysis. Technology allows for more extensive and precise data collection through wearable devices, mobile apps, online platforms. This abundance of data enables researchers to analyze behavior patterns on a larger scale, providing deeper insights into human behavior. Then you have machine learning and predictive analytics. The
Mm-hmm.
integration of machine learning and predictive analytics allows for more accurate predictions of human behavior. Algorithms can identify patterns and make personalized recommendations. So now, my through machine learning, I know exactly what kind of intervention program to design for Sabahat. How I can improve her effectiveness, what
Mm-hmm.
triggers her, what are her interests, and hence my intervention will be very, very customized to suit
Okay.
your need. Yeah. Then you have
Wonderful.
virtual and augmented realities. Now, these
Mhm.
technologies provide immersive environments for studying and influencing behavior. Reality, for example, can be used to simulate real life scenarios for therapeutic purposes, training, even exposure therapy. In fact, right now I'm creating a board game which we want to simulate a leadership board game. We also have board games simulations for negotiation skills. So by playing these games, the raw personality of people come out. So you see,
Mhm.
and we get a better understanding of how they behave in difficult situations. What is their risk appetite? How are they leveraging power? All this is known because of technology and how they are interacting with simulations.
Mhm.
Have mobile apps and digital interventions, neuroscience and brain imaging. Advancements in neuroscience technologies, including brain imaging, contribute to a deeper understanding of neural mechanisms in underlying behavior. We didn't have this kind of information about 15 years ago. Now,
Yes.
neuroscience and brain imaging has increased to such an extent that we understand neuroscientific biases and we can
Mhm.
design specific interventions. Then we have biometric monitoring. These are wearable devices that monitor physiological signals such as heart rate, sleep patterns, stress levels, and provide us
Yeah.
with real time data. And based on this data, we are able to create tailor made solutions or interventions to deal with with specific needs of individuals. Then you have
Yeah.
social media and online communities, and of course most importantly are the ethical policies that we have to keep in mind. So technology advancements offer exciting opportunities for behavioral science by providing tools for research, intervention, and deeper understanding of human behavior. However, ethical considerations must be prioritized to ensure responsible use of these technologies.
Yes, yes. Now, 15 years back, if I think about it, we were still using these keypad phones, you
Right.
know,
Absolutely.
1100. People had that
True.
craze because that phone, and that phone is still worthy
Yes,
compared to your Android phones.
correct.
And
These are
now,
touch
after
screens.
15
Yeah.
years, yeah, look at the trend, look at the advancement in the world. So
50
it's
years, last 50
yeah,
years, technology has advanced like it has never advanced before. 50 years
absolutely.
ago, what we were, or what our parents were, and what we are, this generation today, world of
Hmm.
difference. World of difference in
Yes,
attitudes, in behavior, in social styles, and it has all been influenced through because of technology. From the
yes,
world of black and white TV,
yes.
LEDs and lasers now, a
Yeah.
huge difference.
Now you can see every house has a LED television.
Very true. Very
So
true.
nobody uses the CRT.
No, that's gone. Those days are gone. I remember the days when I used to buy floppy disks. I don't know if you remember the floppy disks that we had.
Yes, yes,
Now we
the
don't
black
even,
one,
yeah,
right?
yes. Now where we nobody uses floppy disks. I mean, today's younger generation, they don't even know what a floppy disk is. They've never
Yes,
seen one in
yes.
their life. Then I
Yeah.
remember using CDs, then DVDs to write and back up our data. Then came your memory banks and everything. Today, everything is stored on the cloud. You don't need anything. My laptop doesn't even have a USB drive to plug in because everything
Uh-huh.
is now directly connected to the cloud.
Yeah. So strange, but yes, it's exciting as well.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about, you building behavioral science strategies, What strategies do you use to build trust and rapport with individuals who are
Mhm.
seeking counseling from you?
See, building trust and rapport is essential in counseling. Some of
Definitely.
the things that I use would be active listening, first and foremost. Then, second is empathy, genuine empathy, validating the client's emotions. Very, very
Yeah,
important.
yeah,
And the third would be, say, nonverbal communication, paying attention to the client's language, facial expressions, his or her tone of voice. Nonverbal clues can convey warmth, openness, attentiveness, contributing to a positive therapeutic relationship. So, not your
yes.
body is constantly talking. You might not tell
Mhm,
so much with your words. Some clients don't talk at all. They will just come and sit in front of you. So that's when their body language becomes even more powerful because their body is constantly giving you signals. It's constantly talking to you. So as a
mhm,
psychologist, you need to pay close attention to nonverbal communication.
mhm,
Of course, cultural sensitivity. I have, as a counselor, as a therapist, as a behavioral scientist, I have to be, sensitive to cultural differences of various clients. And then transparency, clear communication, and letting them know what are the objectives of this counseling process, what are the goals. So that transparency has to be very
yes.
clearly spelled out and built at the beginning in the very first session.
Mm,
Have things like respect for autonomy, respecting the client's autonomy and the choices that the client makes. Consistency and reliability, being there for your client every single time along the journey. Sometimes they might need just 2 sessions or 3 sessions in cases like, say, obsessive compulsive disorder or schizophrenia or mood swings. You need the engagement is for a much longer time. It could be for months. Sometimes the engagement could be for years. So that consistency and reliability is very, very important to be established very early in the counseling relationship. At the same time, clear boundaries have to be established because there will be times where the client gets very attached to the therapist, and
mhm.
for every small thing would latch on to the therapist. So those boundaries have to be very clearly defined. The intent of a therapeutic engagement or a counseling session is to empower the client, not to make that client dependent on the counselor or the therapist. Then providing regular feedbacks and checking in on the client, collaborative goal settings, all these are very important. What we need to remember is that trust and rapport are built over time through consistent and positive interactions. Each individual is unique, so the effectiveness of these strategies could vary from person to person. Adjusting one's approach based on the client's needs and preferences is crucial for establishing a strong therapeutic alliance.
Totally agree with you. As in how the world is advanced, people have started getting lonely,
Yes,
and people have gotten involved in the world of technology so much that they do not have anybody to hear each other out. And
true,
that's where the dependency is more on therapists.
very true.
And I totally agree that you need to also draw the boundaries when you are even, counseling. Otherwise, they might start depending on a therapist completely. That
That's
has to be done for sure. So yeah, when you talk about counseling, have you counseled the from what age group do you focus to counsel people?
See, ideally, I work with adults, but I have had cases of very small children where parents come with children who have depression, with teenagers who are suicidal, with more and more youngsters, young adults who have severe mood swing disorders. And of late, I'm getting a lot of cases with young children who are having addiction problem. When I say addiction, it's technology addiction. Yeah, and parents do not know how to deal with it. So, though I specialize in adult counseling and therapy, I've handled a variety of cases across age groups.
Yeah. When you say people coming and talking about addiction to technology, I have seen parents, especially when the kid is small, they try to control the kid if it is crying, and once they are not able to succeed if it cries more, they show the phone, thinking that the kid will go silent now, and
Very
obviously. That's how it's I feel somewhere that it's also their fault that they are giving this technology in their hands, and then they start complaining that my kid is addicted. How is that? How will you
You're
people
100% right, Sabah. You're
yeah.
100% right. It is a flaw in the parental upbringing. Parents
Yes.
have to, the buck stops, the onus stops on the parent. Yes,
Mm,
parents are busy, they are working, mom is in the kitchen, the child is crying, nobody else is at home, father may be outside. The mother tries a little bit to console the kid, but she doesn't have the time, to
mm,
actually sit or distract the kid or engage him in some other constructive work. So the easiest thing is to give a tab or a phone or a laptop or switch on the television. And what happens is it is so exciting to see so many things coming on the screen. Music is happening, animation is happening, so many things. It stimulates your brain. It's exciting for the kid. The kid is now so immersed in that I don't no longer want to go out and play.
yeah,
Outside it's so boring. Earlier we used to go as kids outside and play either football, badminton, take a stroll in the park. Today, I hardly see any kids coming out of their house because they're all on their tabs. They're addicted to video games. They live in a different reality, which is actually very far from the real world. It's
yes.
it's completely different, and to a large extent, parents are to blame for this.
For
Why do we
this.
have to buy our children PS4 and PS5? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yes, there is a little bit of research that supports that thinking is creativity is stimulated in a particular manner to some extent, but the damaging factors overweigh the positive impact of technology. So we
Mm-hmm.
should know now, even if the child is addicted to technology and now you're trying to wean the child off or the person off, you can't, just like smoking or any other addiction, you can't stop all of a sudden. It has to be
Mm-hmm.
in a very gradual manner. So you reduce the time duration and then you have to replace it with something else, which means the parents now have to take out extra time from their busy schedule, take the kid for swimming or enroll him in football practice. Now, how many
Yeah.
parents are willing to spend that time with the child? Yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier, our parents used to take us for this kind of stuff or come and play with us. They would come and play with us badminton or, or take us to the cricket ground to watch a match or whatever it is. The parents were more involved. Today's parents don't have the time.
Time. Yes.
Bad. They are so overloaded with work. They have so much of pressure. So I think counseling and therapy is needed more for parents rather than children. Children are easy to handle. It's the
Yeah,
parents
children are
that need
easy to.
guidance and help.
Totally agree with you. I've even seen people, doing it for competency, the competition, especially with neighbors or friends. They say the neighbor's kid has a phone, so get
Correct.
me an iPhone. Because of that, if the parent buys a phone to their child. When I was in school, I don't remember my parents handing over a phone to me. I was even going to college, it was so difficult. I remember that I had to commute because I had never traveled alone, and
Mm.
that was a time where I had to travel alone, especially when I started with my college. And it trust me, I had a hard time figuring out the places, but I never got the phone. My parents never gave me the phone. I got my phone only when I crossed 18 years. So now I see even small kids are
Correct.
handling phones well, better than me, in fact.
They're more tech savvy than us. I mean, I hear them talking about reels and stories and stuff like that. And this terminology is still very alien to me because I'm not completely into social media and stuff like that. So I'm still
Yeah.
learning. Maybe I'm too old. That generation is very young. But yes, they are very smart. And what we need to understand is every generation is born with 10,000 extra neurons. That means they have the ability to be 10,000 times smarter than you and me.
Mhm.
So as parents, we need to channelize that intelligence. We need to channelize that creativity in more constructive ways. Now, if you give a child a tab and he's glued to that, so many neurons are going to be wasted and are not going to be used. So anything, any part of your body, if you don't use, is going to atrophy, is going to die out. So every year a child is losing so many neurons because he's not using that part of those brain cells or those neurons out over there. So as I said, parents need help, not children. Is parents who
Yeah.
need guidance, they need coaching. And I think as a society we need to build this awareness And we need to allow parents, let parents know that if you need help, we are here. There is no stigma attached to coming and talking to us. It's not that earlier it was used that you go to a psychologist if something
Mhm.
was mentally wrong with you. Oh, he's mad, something is wrong. No, we all face challenges in life. It could be an interpersonal problem, it could be an anger issue, it could be an addiction problem. And these are challenges that wherever there are more than two human beings, there will be some amount of politics, there will be some undercurrents at work, and you might need a third party objective person to look at your situation clearly and help you arrive at solutions. And that's what a therapist or a psychologist is going to do. So there's no shame in coming. When you fall sick, would you hesitate to go to a doctor and take medicine? No. Then when you have a challenge, why is it that you hesitate to come and talk to a psychologist? So
Mhm.
though this has come down to a large extent, the stigma has reduced, but still there's a lot of hesitation in coming and meeting and talking to a psychologist.
Mhm. Going back to the question again, you said about teens committing suicide.
Yes.
Is it only in India or any other regions as well?
Across the globe, globally, this is something because teens feel misunderstood. They are neither a child nor an adult. It's a very confusing place for them, and especially outside India, in some of the more advanced Western societies or developed Western societies where they have easy access to a lot of other things, drugs, alcohol, and stuff like that. They become very dependent on that, and they make a lot of wrong lifestyle choices and decisions, which contribute to them feeling less empowered, where they feel that when there's a problem, there's no hope for me, it's not worth living. They get caught in what we call in psychology as the learned cycle of helplessness. And when they
Mhm.
hit rock bottom, instead of picking themselves up and standing again, the easy way out is to commit suicide. Now, a large number of teenagers also attempt to commit suicide as an attention seeking behavior. They want attention from their parents. So they don't really slit their wrist really hard, but they leave small gashes and small lines out over there, which is enough to put a parent into anxiety and panic. Parents are like, oh my God, what has happened? What has happened?
Mhm.
And they rush to their rescue rather than letting their child understand the consequence of their actions. There is a
Ex-
way to deal with it. Yeah. And parents do not know how to deal with these challenges.
mhm.
So when we're talking about teenage suicide, it's not specific to India. It's increasing in India. Also, very ironically, this is some fantastic research that's done, which I highly encourage everybody to read. Studies have shown that people who are more religiously inclined, who believe in the concept of God, are less likely to commit suicide, are more resilient, because they know if there's a challenge, that there is a reason for that challenge. And
Exactly.
God has given them the strength to deal with that challenge. Yeah?
Mhm.
Whereas uh, the youngsters today, they don't have this concept of God. They're like, oh, it's just enough to be a good human being. The concept of consequence is not there. So when they face a challenge, or when they face a tragedy in life, or they feel betrayed or backstabbed by a friend, they're like, suddenly at a loss. They're like, I can't move on in life. Nobody understands me. Now I don't have anybody. What is the use of living? And since there's no accountability for their actions, they choose the easiest way out of either committing suicide by hanging themselves, or cutting themselves, or drugging themselves. One of my clients, a year ago, a young boy who had very severe mood swings, and he had a few other personal challenges as well. He felt so low at one point of time that he drank an entire bottle of Dettol in order to commit suicide. First of all, I can't imagine somebody drinking something as strong as Dettol, because it just burns your throat so horribly as it goes in. But he drank the whole thing. Then, of course, his mother called me up in the middle of the night, and he was rushed for a stomach wash and everything. He's good today, he's fine. But at that point of time, when also remember, your brain is working in a very different manner. And as a
Ah.
teenager, as I said, neurons are firing very fast. So,
Mhm.
supposing there's a sudden surge of serotonin, dopamine in your brain, and it makes you suddenly very impulsive, and you take risks, and you don't realize the consequences of those risks. Or sometimes
Mhm.
you're extremely depressed and feel so lonely, that you don't even feel like living. People take certain drastic steps, but if that fear of God was there, if that
Mm.
concept that you have a very merciful creator who is always watching out for you is there, then these kids are less likely to commit suicide, or any other aggression either towards themselves or towards their family.
I think it's best for them, for the parents, to start preaching and telling the stories of, the our ancestors, and talking about gods and angels, while the children are going to sleep, instead of, telling them a story of Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, or giving them the phone to make them watch and put them to sleep. I
Oh,
think parents have to step in there and give spend more time and explain the details of the belief in God. That
very
system
well
is
said.
that habit is very needed.
Very
That I
much.
see very less people doing it.
Yeah, because when you give real life stories of people who are resilient, people who became movers and shakers in the world, you see all of them had a very strong relationship with their creator, irrespective
Mm-hmm.
of which religion they follow. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they believe that there is a superpower. They believe that that they are that their brains that God has blessed them with comes from something more superior. Somebody has created us. We're not just a product of the Big Bang. We all did not just evolve from monkeys and apes and turn into what we are today. We were created with a purpose. And when
Mm-hmm.
people realize the purpose of their existence, depression automatically goes off. Most individuals do not know their purpose in life. They suffer from what
Yes.
in psychology we call existential neurosis. So, if we can deal with that question and give them a cause to identify with, find out what the person's interests are and make that into a cause where they can serve humanity, where they can serve society, you'll see
Mm.
90% of their problems will disappear.
Exactly. So true, Dr. Noor. I absolutely agree with everything that you have spoken just now.
Thank you.
So, like going back to your clients who were experiencing, specific mental health issues, anxiety, depression, can you share some examples where you had difficulty in dealing with your clients? It was like, was it challenging? Were there any people? Because you mentioned, right, we all know that person, people differ.
Yes.
So, were there any challenges that you faced in terms of your behavior or in a person?
True. See, actually, every case is a challenging case, but I feel the
Mhm.
most difficult cases are those of obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD,
Mhm.
because they're
Mhm.
habits that have been formed, and there's an
Mhm.
active thought process. There's something called mind chatter. Your brain is constantly talking to you at such a rapid rate and telling you to do certain compulsions and say,
Mhm.
go check if the stove is off. Go check if the stove is off. If you don't check, maybe the entire house is going to burn down. And the thought is so strong, the voice in their head is so strong that they go 10 times 15 times to check if that stove is switched off, or they are so worried that there are germs on their hand, especially during the pandemic. I've seen a lot of OCD cases related to hygiene.
Mhm.
That people will constantly keep washing their hands, washing their hands, taking a shower, or spending 1.5 hour taking a shower. Very ritualistic behavior. So OCD cases are some of the most challenging cases because you
Mhm.
first have to calm the brain down. Then you have to,
Yes.
and in many cases, it defies logic because the
Mhm.
voice in your head is so strong that even if you record it on the phone and you show the person, no, see, the stove is off. The voice is so strong that they are compelled to do. If they do not go and do that action, anxiety increases, blood pressure increases, palpitation increases. They're unable to breathe because of that till they give in to the compulsion and go and again check the stove. Yeah, so dealing with OCD cases is very, very challenging. So we have to have a proper structure. The best way to deal with a person suffering from OCD is to create a schedule where they are busy from the minute they wake up to the minute they sleep. There is no
Mhm.
chance, no opportunity for the brain to engage in idle thought. The minute your brain is inactive, That is when the thoughts start coming in. Okay, you must have not done this properly, you must have not closed the lock, you have not watered the plants, you have not filled the hot water in the bottle, you did not wash your hands properly. So we need to keep them engaged. So we establish a routine and say, okay, you get up at this time, this is what you do, then you do this, till, and we make them physically and mentally exhausted. So in the night, when they put their head on the pillow, they automatically fall asleep. When you're physically and mentally not exhausted, you cannot fall asleep easily as well. That's
Mm-hmm.
why so many people today are suffering from insomnia,
Mm-hmm.
because of a sedentary lifestyle, because we're
Yes.
on the computer all the time. We don't have that we're not expending the physical energy, and then we have ready-made food on Swiggy and Zomato that we order, and it is all quick food, fast food, which is not very healthy. Where is that energy being used? It's just being accumulated. So becoming overweight, suffering from insomnia, all these are lifestyle changes. So these are the challenges. So OCD, as I said, is the most difficult. Then, of course, you have mood swings, trauma, and some of the other cases are more easy to deal with. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Mood swings is a little bit of a personality disorder. So you need to understand the person's personality and then curate a customized intervention to deal with them. Otherwise, there are certain clinical, and in some extreme cases of anxiety and OCD, we might have to give medication to calm the person down. Because unless the person is calm, you cannot get into a therapeutic discussion. They will not be in a position to even sit and talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety will be so much that they will break down and they will start crying, and they will not be able to function. It interferes in everyday functioning. So we will
Mm-hmm.
have to give them some amount of medication. So as a psychologist, we will have to collaborate in India, because psychologists are not allowed to prescribe medication. We collaborate with psychiatrists, refer them to the psychiatrist, where the psychiatrist will do his evaluation and prescribe maybe anti-anxiety medicine to calm the person down, or maybe a serotonin a heavy dose to just help the person to deal with his everyday functioning or her everyday functioning. So we have to partner with psychiatrists in some cases to deal with certain challenges.
I'm sure when you are prescribing or referring these people, the who are suffering from OCD to a psychiatrist, people assume that that person is suffering mentally.
Yes,
Something wrong has happened with that person, and they start, the support. They lack that support. I mean, especially the patients who are suffering with mood swings, they
yes,
lack the support of the family because a lot of people they do not have the knowledge about mental health. They don't know that mental health is equally important to your physical health. So
correct.
how do you I mean, what's your advice on to those people?
That is why we insist on family therapy and counseling, to educate the family of the patient, because without the immediate support of their family, the treatment will fall flat. It'll be successful only to a certain extent. But if that environment that they're going back in is distrustful, is intimidating, is not supportive, is going to constantly put them down, then the person will not improve. So, in
Hmm.
cases where the family support is not there, we highly encourage, if the person is an adult, to change their environment, go and live separately away from the toxic environment, because if they don't understand. Yes, first is build awareness. Try to get them into family counseling and therapy. Despite that, if they are not supportive of the patient's condition and are not able to bring about certain changes, forget empathy, at least sympathize with the person and understand, change the way you're talking, your tone of voice, your rate of speech, your body language, bring in some concern. If these kind of changes are not there, then we will try and remove the patient from that environment and put him in a neutral environment so the healing process can start. Imagine you fall down and you keep constantly scratching your wound. Will it ever heal? No.
No, it
Go
wouldn't.
back to your family, who's going to put you down, who's going to say you're
Hmm.
just making up stories. There's nothing wrong with you. It's all in your head. All this is mumbo jumbo. This is psychologist thing is not really. There is no such thing as psychological problems. If they are that insensitive in today's day and world, it just shows a lack of awareness on their part. They don't want to face reality. That family needs more help. Yeah, they need
Hmm.
more help. So in that case, we would suggest to the patient very strongly to shift their environment. If it's a child, then we can't really do much about it other than refer the child to child support and see if
Hmm.
they can help in. Psychiatric social worker comes in and helps them out. For adults, we give them other options. They have a choice to walk out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, very interesting. I want you to let me know, how do you stay informed about the new developments and research in the field of mental health counseling?
Okay, lots. Staying current with new developments and research in mental health
Yeah.
counseling is integral to providing effective and evidence-based support to my clients. Now, to
Mm-hmm.
achieve this, I engage in several ongoing practices. Firstly, I regularly attend professional conferences, workshops, seminars in the field of psychology. Now,
Mm-hmm.
these events not only provide opportunity for networking, but also offer insights into the latest research findings and emerging therapeutic approaches.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'm an active member of professional associations and subscribe to reputable mental health journals. Now, this
Oh,
allows me to access the most recent publications, studies, and advancements in counseling and psychotherapy.
mm-hmm.
Continuous membership in these organizations often comes with newsletters, online resources that keep me updated on the current trends and research outcomes. Mm,
Okay.
I also participate in regular supervision and peer consultation sessions. Now, these forums provide valuable opportunities to discuss cases, share
Mm-hmm.
experiences, and learn about innovative practices from other professionals in the field. So, collaborative learning is a powerful way to stay informed and to refine my behavioral skills, my counseling and therapeutic skills.
True.
In short, my commitment to ongoing education, attending events, being a part of professional networks, leveraging digital resources ensure that I stay well informed about the new developments and research in the dynamic field of mental health counseling and therapy.
So when you talk about this development, right, especially with the technology, how
Mhm.
are you going to utilize your skills and your talent in terms of behavior science, counseling, focusing on mental health?
Mhm. How do I use technology to my advantage?
Yes.
The very fact that I have Brainwave, my counseling and therapy organization, is completely online.
Okay.
We exist so that people from across the globe can contact us. It's not
Mm-hmm.
limited to face counseling. Most of the counseling sessions across the globe are physical, where you come, there is an office, you come to the clinic and you meet the therapist. But through the use of technology, through the use of digital platforms, and now apps that are available, counseling can be made accessible to everyone across the globe. So anyone can connect you. That's one of the biggest advantages of of technology. Second, I'm very pro technology because now we can create simulations, we can create apps, and that will become personal buddies. So in helping people overcome certain challenges. For instance,
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with my technology partner on creating a very interesting app for leaders, a leadership intervention, software. Maybe it would probably be an AI driven bot as well, in order to help leaders understand their strengths, their developmental areas, see what the gap is, and map that to their career aspirations. And the bot will create a customized, unique developmental plan for the leader to help him reach his goal. So, technology is pivotal, at least for me, in reaching out to a large audience and in bringing about change. So if when once the bot is unable to do something, then the coach, the mentor, the psychologist come in.
Yes, very, very, very true. And this whole session has been so much informative, knowledgeable, and very interesting, especially hearing from you with all the cases about mental health, behavioral science. And I think the people who are listening to our podcast and the viewers who are watching us, I hope they give it a thought that now people, not only doctors and engineers are those who are helping for the society, but even people like you are contributing so much to the society, and a lot of them are not even aware of behavioral scientists, to be
No,
honest.
they don't know.
People are not aware of what's the psychologist. There are therapists like that. There is child therapists also. So only those very few people, who are going through, who feel that, who just listen from a word of mouth, only those people get to know it. and they experience it, and then they quit in between because they're not so educated and not so informed about it,
True,
right?
true, very
So,
true.
my last question would be, Dr. Noor, what is your advice to the society and teens, considering the fact that the world is growing digitally, there is less interaction with the people, and people, the children are very tech savvy. They're getting into, I mean, if you talk about tech savvy, people are also going on the wrong path when you say they're misusing the internet in some ways, and people are also getting cheated. That is also leading to a loss.
Correct.
So, what is your advice to those people?
Let's look at advice first to society at large. First of all, we need to promote digital literacy.
Mm,
Understand where technology can be used and what are its benefits, and also understand what are some of the cons of this technology, how it
mm,
can hamper relationships. Maximum number of problems I'm facing, interpersonal challenges in couples, marital conflict in couples, is
mm.
because one of the spouses is addicted to the phone, and even till they sleep at night, the last thing that they look is not at their husband or their wife's face, but the phone. And it's creating so much of conflict because the spouse is feeling neglected, the spouse is feeling unwanted, unappreciated, and it's just causing a rift in this small family unit, which is the foundation of a larger society. So first, we need to learn how to use technology in a healthy manner. So the pros and cons have to be very clear. Secondly, we need to encourage balance. So it's not just we bring about certain lifestyle changes. It's not that online is bad, but online has to be done within a certain proportion, within its limit. Encourage offline interactions, physical activity, maintain a healthy lifestyle, eat organic food, create digitally free spaces. As a family, make sure that when you all come and sit together to have lunch or dinner or breakfast, there are no gadgets on the table. Encourage social networking within the family. That's very important. And very important, as a society, we need to promote mental health initiatives. We need to create awareness programs to support and address the negative impacts of excessive digital use. And that's something many of us are struggling with. Specific advice to individuals, especially teens, is set healthy boundaries. You want to use your phone? Okay, great. You want to play on the PS4? Fine, but within a timeline. You've been given half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever it is. Play, do whatever you want with your phones, with your iPads, with your PS4 during that time. After that, you need to get off from there. Cultivate offline relationships, encourage youngsters to go outside, get involved in sports, take up a cause that they are passionate about. It could be environment issue, it could be pet care, animal care, it could be working in a nursery, it could be taking care of elderly. Get a cause for yourself. That's very important. Teenagers, youngsters, young adults need to have a cause that will give them a sense of purpose, and we need to work towards that sense of purpose. Practice mindful technology use. Very,
Mm-hmm.
very important. Explore
Yes.
positive online communities. Engage with people, collaborate with people on creating projects. The technology is not bad. How you use technology and to what outcome to use that it will lead is very, very important. So use positive online communities and value face-to-face communication. Ultimately, the key is to strike a balance between the benefits of digital connectivity and the importance of maintaining strong, meaningful relationships in the physical world. Both society and individuals, especially teenagers, can play a role in shaping a healthy and balanced relationship with technology. So, I think it's very important to strike that balance, and educating parents, young adults, teenagers is very, very important. That's the first step in this endeavor.
Very interesting, Dr. Noor. Thank you so much for giving such information, such so much of knowledge, sharing all your thoughts, sharing your experiences with us. I'm sure this is just the chapter one. This is just the beginning, and we will continue the session in next chapter where we will be focusing more on, continuing the questionnaire about the teenage parenting, how can we actually focus on mental health, how can we bring in the awareness. So all of that in our next upcoming sessions.
Absolutely. Looking forward to those sessions. And thank you so much, Sabah, for having me here.
Thank you so much, Dr. No, for your time and patience.
Please take care.
So
Have a lovely
yes,
evening.
you as well. Thank you.